Okay. I just watched this. I have no idea what I saw. This is the title. Quackers. There are just too many jokes I can make about this. I don't even... Give me 1 second. If Quackity stands don't call themselves this already, they should be ashamed of themselves. Okay, I've gathered myself a little. Quackers is a film that, from what I can tell, was a joint Chinese-Russian production made in 2016. And I'll be honest, I still don't know what I just witnessed. It's free on Tubi if you want to join me in gawking how bizarre this whole experience was, because... Oh my god. I'm still not sure if what I saw is real. Like, these are the studios who made them. One of them is, like, an outsourced studio that does, like, effects work for big-budget Hollywood productions. I am going to do my best to surmise the plot for you guys, but if you have seen it, you will understand why that is very hard to do. Like, I know the internet reviewer who plays up how bad or odd a film is for clickbait trope is tired, but, like, I swear to God, I am being genuine. I have no idea what I just saw. If I started my career in the early 2010s, this would be that film that came back as a running gag villain, like the film was sentient. It would be that film. Okay, so the plot is as follows. According to ancient legend, this vague ruler of darkness is supposed to come and shrink the sun, but then a legendary duck will stop it at the cost of its own life. So this duck, like, Long Way, he's just like your average duck, no one understands him. He's in fact the sun duck. But his father is keeping this a secret from him because he doesn't want his son to die before him. And these mallards show up and they're like a bunch of Canadian military birds on vacation. And this duck dictator, I didn't make that up, the film did. The film repeatedly refers to him as a dictator. So like, this duck dictator, Christopher Columbus, is onto their island thinking it's Hawaii and then wages war on the locals when they aren't hospitable towards them. Like, and this girl duck, guy duck fall in love thing. There's these humans, and one of them's just straight up Mother Gothel from Tangled, like, she knows about this sun duck legend. Like, this isn't just a legend exclusive to the ducks, this is a well-known Chinese legend. At least in the universe of the film, I don't know about real life. So she wants to kidnap the main duck so she can harness the sun, make herself immortal, and then there's like a fight, and the duck wins, and there's a fake-out death scene, and then the movie's just over. That is as much as I can tell you about this film. It's just so cluttered. Like, I described the entire plot and I feel like I am leaving so much of it out. Like, I didn't talk about these comic relief thieves. I didn't talk about this assistant duck who's like secretly evil in a plot twist. I didn't talk about this racist duck. Like, why is this duck a racist caricature? None of the other ducks are like this. Why is it just this one? How does this happen when you were made by, like, when you're co-produced by a Chinese production? How does this even happen? I don't even know, like, is this racist? Like, I'm white? I don't know if that's my place to say. It looks racist. Like, it feels like something you'd see in, like, a racist compilation. I don't know. I don't know, someone help. Oh, God. Credit where it's due. I actually think the design on this film is very competent. Like, the rendering on some of these characters and environments is actually genuinely nice. This came out in 2016, and, like, it still really holds up, like, 5 years later in some places. I also think a lot of the character designs are good. Like, I couldn't tell you anyone's names, but everyone pretty much has a unique design, except for these, like, stock military bird characters, but, like, they don't do shit, so I don't care about that one, really. Like, everyone else has a pretty unique design, and, like, I could at least tell them apart, you know? Like, oh, yeah, that's the girl duck, that's the father duck. You know, I could tell them apart. Like, if they were silhouetted, I'd probably be able to pick it out. I'd be like, oh, yeah, it's that one duck from that one movie I saw with the weird title. Like, the humans are more of an acquired janky taste, I guess. The villain's not really my type, like... We can just acknowledge, the villain's a thirst trap. Like, we all know it. This is a thirst trap villain. Like, she's got a whip. I think I really like the aesthetic choices of the film. It's like this nice creative blend of ancient Chinese architecture and steampunk. I wish there was better clarity for the time frame the film was supposed to be set in. I think they were going for alternate modern or, like, close to modern day, but, like, I'm really not sure. I think these elements do blend well, but we barely get, like, any sort of actual world-building scenes outside of this sun duck legend, so there's never really a chance for the elements of the setting to sink in or, like, make sense. They just kind of show up. Also, the main character has an iPad. Like, he just has an iPad. I don't know. I think ultimately what drags the film down and for me makes it kind of bad is the animation. Again, I did praise some of it earlier, like, a lot of it does look good, but not all of it. Like, the overall quality is extremely inconsistent from shot to shot. There's no, like, in-between. It either feels like there is way too much movement going on at all times, or the physics of the animation doesn't quite match up to what we want it to be. Like, it's hard to articulate what I mean, but, like, look at this scene. Look at all this movement, it just doesn't read right, does it? You just want to stick your finger in there and then just, like, stop him for, like, just a minute. Like, you're moving too much, bud. I also want to point out this one shot where they squash and stretch this boat. It was just a very bizarre choice. Like, they only really do the squash and stretch stuff on the humans, and not really the ducks that much, which, like, is weird for me. Like, usually they do, like, the reverse. I don't know. It just threw me off. And, like, again, these companies and, like, all the animators on this project have done work before. This is clearly, like, from what I can tell, this was their first fully animated feature on their own. But, like, you can tell that they know what they're doing generally. I bet if they had just a bit more time and money, and at least, like, they could probably fix up a few scenes. And, like, I don't want to say, like, it's totally different, because it's like, well, this is a fully animated film, not just effects work. Because, like, let me just go on a little rant here, like, about the special effects / effects work umbrella term. Because in big budget movies, it's just such a broad fucking term. Like, effects work could be anything from animating a single firework in one shot and nothing else, to animating an entire kaiju boss battle with collapsing buildings in the backgrounds that go on for like 15 minutes from the entire ground up. Like, yeah, it's CGI. That doesn't mean people are working hard on it. And, like, again, the people working on this film have good experience with other animation studios like Illumination, so, like, they're clearly used to having high-profile jobs. The budget for the film's about $12 million, which surprised me. Like, in some scenes, it looks almost in par with an American studio, like, but then in others, like, you're like, oh, yeah, that's pretty stiff. Yeah, that does look like $12 million. Like, again, like, the rendering on the film is beautiful. There's actually these really nice particle effects in some scenes. Like, I don't want this to feel like it's me shitting on the workers, because, like, they clearly have experience and talent. Like, is the overall product good? No, I wouldn't call it good, but, like, clearly there's a lot of effort and care put into it, and, like, I don't know, I would feel bad if I, like, just completely ripped into them, I guess. I don't know, I think part of me again, the film is called Quackers. Like, I think part of me genuinely wanted to be surprised and have this be a good film, so I think I'll take it being passable. It's not good. It's not a good film at all. Like, again, it is very bland, it's very forgettable in some places, but it's competent, which is more than I can say for a lot of things. Like, I think this would be a good film to kind of, like, watch and just rip on with friends, like, at a party. Again, like, I'm having trouble remembering this film, but, like, I remember in the moment laughing. Like, just laughing and having a good time. I watched this with my QPP, and, like, we had a blast. It was just hilarious. Like, not in the ways it intended to be hilarious, it was just funny watching this film, like, fail in places, I guess. Like, some of these shots, again, they look way nicer than you would expect, and, like, I guess that's slightly concerning, because, like, I'm now worried, like, oh, geez, how bad were the conditions for these animators, but, like, at the end of the day, they made something that looks pretty, and I'll commend them for that. But again, this film is just weird, and it has a lot of bizarre choices. Like, the licensed music is so... They licensed the song War Come With Me Now, and I imagined a good chunk of the budget went to licensing that song, because they play it like 3 times, including in the end credits. They also licensed Who Let the Dogs Out. Like, I don't know what that was about. Like, it just shows up for a single scene. It doesn't even fit. I don't get it. Like, I genuinely implore anyone who has not seen or heard of this film before, give it a watch, because it is just weird in more ways than I could ever talk about. Like, I am barely scratching the surface on this film. Also, like, Apparently, this film has a credited composer, but I'm not sure if they just bought the rights to the music all from the same guy, or if he made the music specifically for this film. I cannot tell. Also, there's a joke. There's so much weird things in this film. There's a joke where the main kid duck is, like, reading the legend, and the dad tries to cover it up by saying it's a porn mag. There's this scene where the main duck and the girl duck are talking, and then the main duck, makes, a vaguely racist remark, these mallards, they're, fucking terrible. Oh, but, I didn't mean all mallards. It's just weird. Again, and, I'm not even gonna touch the sexual jokes they do with the fill-in, I know I sound I am working off of a script as I read this right now. I know I sound cluttered. That's just how this film makes my brain. This film, I think I will end on this. The one singular fart joke in the entire film. I don't even think that this was scripted or a stock fart. I honestly think the voice actor, honest to God, just farted in the booth and the mic picked it up and the dubbing company kept it in. It's probably just a stock sound, realistically thinking. But I want to believe. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe to me for more content. There's a recommended video on the sidebar there. Leave a comment down below. Just interact with me. If you have seen this film, tell me your thoughts on it. I'd love to hear them. Yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.